An all Guardians Marvel logo and this giant sad rocket face. Pair that with a somber / unsettling piece of the score, and I'm already sad and don't even know why. Aw, they're so cute. So glad nothing bad happens to any animals in this movie. What? No way. It's Marvel, we're good, don't worry. Hot dang, James Gunn. The first transition from 235 to 185 is done transforming Baby Rocket into Adult Rocket while the acoustic version of Creep plays. I didn't even notice the aspect ratio shift the first time, but my brain did. The confining cage is opened up to Rocket's free life, but is he actually free? We can see that his face doesn't just get more adult looking, it changes because the surgeries reshaped his skull. And Gunn lets us know who the focus of the movie is gonna be right away. But how is a CG raccoon face so expressive? Rocket knows the words because this is like the low self-esteem anthem, so he listens to it a lot and he's turning it up, which continues Gunn's obsession with diegetic music that I'm also obsessed with. I want a perfect body. Oof, we all just wish we were Brad Pitt in Fight Club, but Rocket would probably prefer his original body. So that's a milky fizz sipper written in Cree, but it's clearly a nod to like milk tea or some other Japanese vending machine drink, and I'd like one, thank you. I just don't know why you hate us, Gunn. Why must you make us feel stuff and think about stuff? You give us the typical Guardian slow-mo hero walk with Peter being carried by Nebula? And the whole thing has a very different vibe from the first two movies. Peter dances through the first title card to Come and Get Your Love, Baby Groot dances through the Volume 2 title card to Mr. Blue Sky, and now we've just got a melancholy walk with Rocket and some leaderless Guardians. Woof. Yeah, you've earned the cool light switch credit. And hey, you shouldn't have skipped the holiday special, but if you did, there's only one more piece of information you're missing. The first being that Nowhere is their new base.
Why not you?
I got emotionalistical issues.
Same, Rocket, same. But yeah, actually, yours might be worse.
Ever since Gamora died.
She's not dead. She just doesn't remember anything from the past few years.
That's an interesting take, and it makes the most sense coming from Nebula since she knew Gamora before 2014.
I am Groot.
Gross.
No, not like that.
Groot is such a teen. Or young adult, or adult, we're all the same. Now that's an entrance. Flying in all golden to crazy on you? Finally Swole Groot in action.
Who threw this thing at me?
Shut up. Baby.
It's still unclear what Adam's deal is. He's more of a perfect being in the comics, but just knowing that he's going to be part of some comedic moments is enough for now. Great way of showing the contrast in strength between Drax, who we think of as pretty dang strong, and Adam, who we now know is considerably stronger.
We need med packs.
Gosh, that moment where Peter is almost as surprised as the audience that one of them can get truly injured.
That hurts.
Appropriate reaction. Kill it with fire. Ego know what to do with spider heads. Oh, okay, yeah, he's okay, I guess. It was at this point that Julia and I agreed leaving Jude home for this one was the right call, and boy, did we have no clue.
Face, mouth. Does it work?
Nope. Nuh-uh, too far, Gunn. You're fired. Really, kill it with fire this time. I refuse to let Demon Android Bunny grow on me. How you gonna do him like this? The first words he forms are to express his pain and existence, and probably the wounds, too.
We kill anyone who gets in our way.
Not kill anyone.
Kill one guy, one stupid guy who no one loves.
Now you're just making it sad.
Gotta love Drax's enthusiasm. I like Groot's regrowth strategy. Rather than making a tiny body that's full, he does the wireframe thing so he can be his correct height. Smart.
You're gonna be okay.
This is super sweet until you realize Clint's wife is trapped in the body of an otter.
Take back word you said that I'm a bad dog.
Nope.
How? How could you? Look at that face. Also, fun fact, Maria Bakalova did the voice as well as the mocap for Cosmo.
I think I have a contact near there. Maybe they can help us get in.
Contact him.
Haha, tricky pronoun usage. Haha, he's so cute. No, nope, no spider bunnies. I've made this clear.
It hurts.
Ah, some parallels to the newly formed being. Fun fact, Elizabeth Debicki is 6'3" and Chakudi Owuji is 5'9", so this checks out. And it's perfect that it puts him just a few inches above her so he can keep feeling like a god. Love that quick stall Adam does before hitting the ground since he can fly.
You're my sister. It's all the family I want or need.
And that's the other big piece of info from the holiday special. I mean, also that Kevin Bacon sings like an angel, but you should have already known that.
And maybe I wanted a Zargnut.
Well, you should have thought of that before you ate them all at Christmas time.
Get over the Zargnuts!
Kruger helping tie Guardians into the MCU using the same sorcerer portals as Doctor Strange. And more importantly, the much sought after skill of the laugh cry emoji.
Who are you again?
Wow, can't even say nice burn because that was the iciest thing she could say to a person who loved her. Math skills.
It blew.
That's the sky.
Sky.
He's so cute. It's too much.
You can't.
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 Yo, he just said the word wrong. You don't have to go all, oh, he was correcting him. Didn't like the S at the end. It's funny, I always thought that Rocket's plurals were more of an affectation, but now I think it's a direct FU to the High Evolutionary.
Yeah, thems.
Look, James Gunn is an amazing storyteller, and that's why his movies do well, but then he also gets to just live what I can only imagine was his kid self's dream of putting his favorite mixtape songs he probably recorded on a tape off the radio just like me into movies for his slow-mo, brightly colored spacewalk shots while still showcasing at least one of the characters' personalities. Mantis be having fun. When I'm talking hours of sitting in front of the boombox listening to the radio waiting for Space Hog to come on so you could hit the record and play button at the same time, we were the real pirates.
You and me.
That person was some alternate future version of me. Wasn't me.
You were everything to me.
I don't think so.
There is so much happening here, and I believe every bit of it and can feel what it would be like on either side. Gamora is rough and tough through most of this movie, but we still see glimmers of the Gamora we knew, the one that was radicalized by Thanos and softened by this new family.
We're listening to everything you're saying.
And it is painful.
But it wouldn't be Guardians without the occasional comedic undercut. See what I mean? Mantis be having fun. Yeah, I guess if the entire ship is organic, security cameras would be eyes. I hate it. I hate it so much. Be having fun.
Mechanic uniforms that we're wearing on our bodies that blend in with some of our skin tones better than others?
You know what? Good for you, Drax. Know your seasons and shades.
I got one of those too. But this one, I just...
Fillion gets only a few minutes of screen time and he just eats it up.
Bug and Doofus access the spaceport through the elevator so Tree can land and get us out of here.
Gamora is really expanding the I don't know anyone's species or names thing to the entire team. I appreciate her inclusivity.
Where did you go, Squirrel? Save the hedgehog.
I'm excited for you that you get to see this again for the first time.
Reminds me of that time your dad had to show his wife, Goldie Hawn, how much he loved her and how to do the dishes for the first time again.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Patrick Swayze.
I would have gone Bodhi, but that'll do just fine.
He was totally into me, man.
I kind of thought you were a douchebag.
Oh, come on.
Why, because he isn't a rat that you catch? She's Ratcatcher 2 from the Suicide Squad.
They were replaced by my father as a method of torture.
He picked a pretty set.
Compliments?
You're a kitty cat. You feel like dancing.
Another perfect example of Mantis. She could easily just say, you're on my side now. But instead, she has to have fun with it, and I love her for that.
That girl died. And then came back a total dick.
Honesty.
She doesn't remember it because it wasn't her. Because her dad threw her off a magic cliff and she died, and then I lost my temper and nearly destroyed half the universe. Everyone else who died in the past stayed dead, not her. Why? Was it the magic cliff? I don't know.
You left out some important information, but that is the gist of it.
Yeah, it's a pretty succinct synopsis of Infinity War and Endgame, at least the parts he was alive for.
Hey, we don't want any.
Oh, brutal. Hardcore is pretty tough, though. Or maybe not, but it's like she thinks she's in the movie we thought she was in, where the good guys don't shoot people in the legs. Perfectly blood-curdling scream of disbelief and pain to be in this new reality. Well, P dead. Maybe I'm just the Suicide Squad pilled at this point, but I never thought everyone was making it out alive, and dude has a hole in his chest. Dead. He dead. And Drax is pretty tough, too.
Run.
Ah, so close.
Run!
Fight.
Run!
Fight!
Brutal. You know when the mostly robot girl is spitting up blood, you're in trouble.
Tell them your truth.
Yeah, I'm not that big of an idiot.
I mean, you just reminded us of how you single-handedly kept the gauntlet on Thanos' hand, but go off, I guess. Self-confidence.
I'm Groot.
Yeah, that looked cool.
It did. Everything Groot does looks cool.
It will be beautiful and forever.
Oof, Lila's religion pilling her friends.
Me be called Floor because me is lying on floor.
No, you don't get a cute name and an even cuter naming rationale. I won't be swayed. In all seriousness, Demon Spider Bunny aside, this scene is so beautiful. Lila leading the charge for the four of them to grab onto some sense of identity by choosing their own names when they're in actual hell.
And me and my friends are gonna go flying together into the forever and beautiful sky.
Screw you trailers for unaltering Rocket's voice in this clip. I'm actually not sure which is worse, but I'm mad either way.
Why did he never tell us about any of this?
This is worse than what Thanos did to me.
That's saying a lot, because there are a lot of characters in the MCU who've been through it. Thor has lost everyone he loved, and Natasha went through torture and mind control and also lost a lot of people. And I would have always put Nebula up near the top of the roughest life list, and she without hesitation gives the title to Rocket.
I am Groot.
Yes,
Yes, what? That he's Groot?
I love that she points it out because it feels insane when people don't, and even more for what it sets up later.
I have a few upgrades courtesy of that gutted badger in the med bay.
Although back to talking about Nebula, her story, when looked at over the course of the MCU, might be my favorite. More on that later, but for now, it's clear from the way she presents this information that it's not transactional. Like, she's not trying to clean the red from her ledger or whatever. Her friend did a thing for her, and because she's his friend, she's gonna save him. It's just what friends do. Warms the heart. Oh no, looks like Eric I got after all.
Kill that one that looks like a carrot to show we mean business.
Maybe it's just a cousin of his.
I really don't enjoy how that's making me feel, actually.
Will Poulter finally getting to do his thing. I know, it's probably a letdown to have Adam Warlock represented like this for a lot of fans, but we've seen Headstone Superman before. You don't cast Will Poulter to be all serious. Crap. Look, he got all beefed up, he can do what he wants. The flaming lips, yes. I can't help but love that Peter is constantly leaning into his feelings by isolating himself in his music. Also pretty.
I made a poop shaped like a fish.
Pooping skills.
Oh.
Just the simple oh. It's a plot thread that gets pulled out later, but what a delivery. Oh, they're napping together. Still, I bet those metal spider legs don't feel great in the ribs.
Look at you. As if you were cobbled together by fat-fingered children.
It's like the point of the movie, but Chakotay really captures the problem with people striving for perfection. He obviously sees himself as perfect, so to be bested by one of his creations causes his brain to error out, does not compute. His vindictiveness towards Rocket reveals how imperfect and fragile he really is. Look, I'm not about to get all basic and say it's no epic, but it really can't go wrong with Faith No More. Oh, what is it? It's it. I mean, who wouldn't want to be their own Lady Liberté? Can I say it? Yeah, it's a baby. I'm not sure I can say it. I won't say it. You should definitely keep that baby alive with no fire involved. Wink, wink. Also, is that a high evolutionary stuffy? We knew that David Bowie was bigger, but dang, it's bigger than the Pat Benatar and Alyssa Milano combined, which, duh. Did you see him as Tesla? No, you didn't. The video tanked. Go watch it. I would never begrudge this team another slow-mo hero walk. And the fits? These are by far my favorite uniforms of theirs. Comics come to life.
Full dive you!
And even though Nebula is one of the team now, it doesn't mean she always knows all the rules.
Come on, Lord.
Using a hummick as the non-Earth music noises is pretty inspired.
Drax, I see you!
Daddy Star-Lord. Seriously, this entire scene could have been filmed right from my childhood with my brothers. Children, they're all children. Even Nebula, the eldest, who is like, I don't know, the typical one, is still egging her siblings on by trying to show that she's the good kid.
He has a thing.
That is delightful.
I mean, why is Group fixing the picture?
This man.
That's very good.
So sincere.
Can I have that later to hang in my apartment, please?
It seems like they're both patronizing him, but I think it's genuine.
Now what?
Open the fucking door.
Again, right from my childhood. Sorry, Mom and Dad. Oh, I'm just kidding. I didn't hear the F word until I was 25. But also, that's one of the best uses of the F word I've ever heard, especially for the MCU, as it's its first. I'll make on the car stereo too. Alf! Yeah, obviously nope to both Warpig and Behemoth, grosser Bebop and Rocksteady, and less cool Toka and Razor.
Me Rocket play now?
Oh, she barely knows what's going on. I guess it's not her fault. She's got demon spider legs. I think maybe I've been too hard on Floor.
Me Rocket leave! Hooray time forever!
Don't you dare harm one fur on that demon spider bunny's head. She's just a simple devil spawned bunny trying to enjoy her life, and I love her. And while I'm coming clean on my love for Floor, I want to reminisce on my favorite scene of hers that's pure cuteness.
You're lying on a floor, so your name is Floor? Yes! Rocket Team Floor, go now! Rocket Team Floor, go!
And now I am broken. We have Rocket Raccoon ending explained. There was always more to his story. Yondu seemed to understand him best, and it makes sense that his original only true friend was a mostly indestructible tree man of few words. You don't recover from this kind of loss. And there's also clearly something cemented in Rocket's brain, since Lila's catchphrase was literally cut short by Rocket losing all his friends. Can you say trauma and PTSD specific to forming meaningful relationships?
It's good to have friends.
It really is good to have friends.
Hey, Jude has this Lego set. I'm fine. This is fine. Life is fine. But so much happens in these 2 short scenes. Rocket has a primal and tragic yell, well done Sean Gunn for the visuals and Bradley Cooper for the scream, but he feels a deep sorrow which turns into anger when the High Evolutionary mocks him and then is completely paralyzed once he sees Tief's floor because he thinks it's his fault. And once he escapes, you can see the switch turn off in his brain and we have the Rocket we know born. And holy cow, it has to be a disconnect, right? He's the guy who wants everyone's prosthetic limbs, like some twisted subconscious way of torturing himself.
Fabulous place were it not for the ignorance and bigotry.
Okay.
It inspired me to create Counter-Us.
I don't care.
I do enjoy the post-meta version of monologuing these days. Even if he's right, Rocket is dying and that's all Peter cares about right now.
I'm not trying to conquer the universe. I'm perfecting it.
Literally tomato, bruh. Thanos was trying to balance it by conquering it. Kang the Conqueror said he was trying to win. Even Loki, well, no, actually Loki did just want to conquer. Ha, her pants are pretty tight.
Be a good creepy thing and back off.
Dang, Judy, he warned you. And Warpig will never be my favorite, but still Judy Greer is always a win. Because I love her and she can do no wrong, and also her voice on this monstrosity just works.
The hell, we're working for the same boss.
I just don't tire of these shots. It displays his speed and power in a way we just couldn't achieve 20 years ago. Aha, ingenuity. And obviously teamwork. There's one more shootout set piece that really capitalizes on this point, but Gunn never doesn't find a way to make a firefight fun and engaging to watch. At first I was like, OG Groot could have grown wings, but there was 4 of them, and also it's more of a rough glide than a fly.
I don't care. I know you need to find fault in everyone else to make yourself feel okay.
This line sticks with you, but it's actually Mantis's next line that reveals more about Nebula to me.
He has sadness, but he's the only one of you who doesn't hate himself.
And that's the rub. Like I said, I still got more to say, but for now, this movie is about how Nebula needs to accept her own faults if she's gonna accept her team's. She's learning how to love herself and learning how to let others love her.
All you care about is intelligence and competence.
Not sure I appreciate this defense.
Hey, take what you can get.
The sky is beautiful, and it is forever.
I guess her religion pilling was accurate? Who doesn't love a happy ending for these hideous monsters? Look at her tiny arm, my lovely little hell bunny. 2 of the most emotional responses to deaths in the MCU happen within 20 minutes of each other. It's like all the hurt from their lives coming to the surface for both of them. Love and hugging.
A purpose for what? They made us for nothing.
This story has been yours all along. You just didn't know it.
You could easily interpret this as a direct response to what Rocket just said, that he thinks he's just the byproduct of someone else's story, and Lila is giving him agency over his own life. It's also true for just this movie, Rocket's backstory. He's the only experiment to best the experimenter. But in a lot of ways, she could also be talking about the Guardian's story as a whole. So many things wouldn't have happened without Rocket. And once you learn that Rocket was one of the primary reasons James Gunn even decided to make these movies in the first place, it starts to fall into place. Also, how about this piece of music?
My beloved raccoon.
I'm not a raccoon.
And whether you want to say this is actually an animal afterlife or just Rocket's subconscious dumping DMT into his brain for one last happy moment, I think deep down he always knew what he was. That's not creepy at all. Hugging. Nope, not creepy or gross. She's in there.
Rocket?
Yeah, he's here, and he's okay.
But does Nebula cry? Is this the first time? Don't forget, Nebula and Rocket were the only 2 Guardians left alive after the snap, so their relationship goes beyond her short time as a Guardian.
RoboCop-looking Skeletor wannabe, Purple Nurple!
A+ insults. You think it's Skeletor wannabe or Purple Nurple that burned the most? Like he's just one giant inflamed and bruised nipple? Cuts deep. Beezer McTakalak and the Broker. I can't believe Beezer McTakalak is back. So happy to see Beezer McTakalak again. Oh, Howard the Duck too. I'm starting to think that Mantis might just carry all her weight in her noggin. So they're like humanoids that have some of the animal features etched into their faces? Okay, just checking.
Why didn't you tell us you knew their language this whole time?
Why didn't you ask?
All right, so let's talk about this for a second. Mantis says,
That language isn't in my translator.
and Drax speaks it. Does that mean that he's never been able to communicate with the Guardians in his native language? Is Drax not actually stupid? He's just a foreigner? I mean, that whole his species is literal thing was from Rocket. What does he even know? Maybe they speak more of a Darmok and Gelada Tanagra, and there's no real direct translation, making Drax smarter than all of them because he's had to adapt to communicate in a way that none of them did. And he doesn't even rub their faces in it because he's better than all of them.
Read in some old letters.
And of course, Earth music is his jam. He's from Earth.
You almost have to admire their pluck.
Be careful. They don't know what that means. Between the Hellspawn Krabby Nightmares and the hairs growing out of the orgoscope, Gunn really leaned into his roots. Gross, but effective.
One more step and this weird thing gets it!
Don't be rash.
His response was so quick. So you're saying there's a chance?
Maybe they're just scared of what we are gonna do to them.
I mean, sure, but the teeth? One of the hardest things for Jude to deal with in the MCU so far has been Yondu's death, and if it weren't for the absolutely devastating animal stuff in this one, I know he'd be happy to see him again, but yeah, few years. Also, no, he hasn't seen Infinity War. We've got several years, I think.
He's a good dog.
True, and even though he hadn't taken it back yet, Cosmo still stepped in to save him. What a good girl.
We move in, we get him, and we get out. Okay, new game plan. We get the hell out of here now.
A super fun expectation subversion that leads to something so much better. Them all fighting together one last time. Like I said, I would never begrudge them a slow-mo hero walk for any reason. The second the camera flies down like this, you know we're about to get a long take, and holy crap does it not disappoint. We get a moment with each Guardian, first following Groot's arm through multiple foes, to Mantis swinging on his arm like a horizontal bar, to Rocket hopping around using his lightweight and speed to his advantage, to Peter throwing his little electro stun thingies and also, brutal Nebula's head breaking, to Drax wrecking everyone, to Gamora going up against a heavy. Also brutal branches. And yeah, they're back. This shot over their arms, there's something extra heartwarming about seeing Peter and Nebula fighting together. Do I ship? Nah, but still. Also, did Drax just do a modified Batista bomb? Nah, but still. You have to just watch Drax in the background when Gamora is the focus. He never stops smashing this guy's head. I think Octo Hyena versus Man-Bear Pig could be a fun 5-ball. Never mind. Godslayer answered that. And I kind of love that there's no real boss battle for this jabroni. He's just bisected. Peace.
Hello, moron.
Also, like, does he think that's a term of endearment since everyone says it to him? That's really sad. Will Poulter's workout routine. It could have been better, I guess.
This way to Thank you.
Mantis, I expect better of you. How could you judge a living creature so harshly? They didn't choose to look that way. Also, Lamb Shank is voiced by none other than James Gunn.
You look really cool.
Thank you. Good.
Wait, let him go, Fleckdick. It's our only chance.
Huh. Fleckdick is Pete Davidson. And I actually respect the reason for him being under the alien head. He was too distracting of a cameo. Props.
Stitch it up. It needs to be airtight for the kids to make it across.
Locking up, Captain.
Her tilted head so she can understand.
You are so strong.
Teamwork. Dang, it still works. Rocket carried this key his entire life as a reminder of his failure to save his friends, and now he gets to use it for its intended purpose and save some innocent lives? A little head shake from the fall?
How dare you think you are more?
You gotta love that he actually is. He's smarter than the High Evolutionary, and he's been preparing for this from the beginning of the movie.
Why are you on the ceiling?
I wanted to see if these new gravity boots worked on a slope. Rocket, raccoon.
Hell yes. Longest origin story ever. Teamwork. Ah, he said it was a face-off.
It's a face-off.
A face-off.
It's a face-off. Face-off.
Because I'm a freaking guardian of the galaxy. Pete, the rest of them.
I like to think that these two lines are the moment Peter realized Rocket was the rightful leader. No good deed. Then you can see Drax carrying the High Evolutionary, which makes Rocket better than Batman, because he understands that letting someone die is often the same as killing them. Gross, I don't like him anymore. Humility. Oh wait, because he's Adam. Being created as a good guy?
Did that look cool?
Nailed the comedy rule of threes. Well played.
Yeah, that looked cool.
Did that look cool?
Hugging.
I'm Groot.
Thanks. Just tell them I'm gonna be right.
Oh, that look on his face. We have to remember that all of the Guardians were like Groot's parents, and just like Peter lost his great love, Groot lost his mom, so her finally understanding him would be so meaningful to him.
But who you are ain't so bad.
True love. Also, I refuse to accept this as the end. Their grunts are like aloha, can be goodbye or hello.
I'm gonna need to take some time. Learn how to swim.
But I'm okay with Peter going out and finding himself. I just think that Gamora should find him along the way.
You weren't born to be a destroyer. You were born to be a dad.
Wow, so just everybody's story is tragic. He's only Drax the Destroyer because his family is dead.
And you will make a better leader than I ever was, Captain.
And now we see that Lila was 100% correct. You could look at everything before this moment as the pre-Guardians, and it was all just leading to Rocket taking over leadership in a way that Peter was never really qualified to do. A Guardian needs to value life, and Rocket now does in a similar way to Cap. He was always the devil-may-care one, but through the events of this story earned a new appreciation for those that others don't consider, especially those no one considers.
I love you guys.
He spoke, and we understood him, because we've finally been around him long enough, and he's let us in. And that might seem random, but it isn't random for Pete and Rocket.
I told you to keep your grimy raccoon hands off my suit.
Something about a song from the 2000s and not the 70s through 90s makes this all feel so final, and I don't like it. Friendship. Oh wow, the definition of bittersweet. Happy for her. Let's just watch Kraglin dance on repeat for a bit. Hey. Love that he recognized him immediately, like he's never stopped hoping he'd see him again. And even more hugging, lots of hugging in this one. There are people who dance and people who don't. But really, if you end up looking after kids, you find out you were just a pre-dancer. Perfect cut to black on the one true star of the show.
I gotta go with the man, Garth Brooks.
You would, but gotta give it up to Phila's eclectic tastes.
Britney Spears and Korn.
Also, holy crap is this a powerful team. Rocket's a genius, Adam's a god, Kraglin has Yondu's arrow skill, Cosmo's telekinesis is strong enough to hold 2 giant ships together, Phyla Vell, even without her comic powers, which she seems to have, never gets tired, sleeps an hour a week, and survives on basically no food. Man, do I need to explain this beefcake? Tree cake? Tree photosynthesis? Because you eat cake, I'm still working it out. Anyway, 10 seasons and 3 movies. Also, Blurt is there.
Oh, this one's kind of special.
The theme song to F is for family? Weird choice, but alright. Oh, also the first song Peter ever diegetically sang to in this universe. Also, Alpha Groot is always so much bigger than I remember, and I love it.
A 45-year-old man, able-bodied, and mowing his lawn. It just feels weird.
You have to love that he's just fallen into a normal domestic life with his granddad. 1 season and 1 movie? Sure. Stan Lee is always a win. What a punk. We know how much fun you had. It better be a glowing article. Cool. Nebula, man. Nebula. It's a streaming service I built with... I'm just kidding. I mean, it is, but I want to talk about this Nebula. Let's start with the fact that she's the only person in the MCU to kill her past self. Literally, she physically killed her younger self. There's like a book in there about trauma. Like I said, in this movie, she's learning to love herself and learning how to let others love her. After Volume 2, when she'd reconciled with Gamora, dang, that didn't happen between these two. But after that, she left, thinking she needed to kill Thanos to be complete, and there was definitely truth in that, and it was a huge growth moment for her to realize that she'd been desperate for his approval all her life.
Even disassembled, I wanted to please him.
But even after he was dead, that didn't just erase everything he'd done to her and everything he'd made her. That would make loving yourself very difficult, not to mention that each component he replaced her with was a direct result of losing a fight with her sister. Again, my fault. And in this story, she saw parallels with Rocket's past. It's always been clear that he hated himself as well and blames himself for his friends' deaths. But being able to observe that from the outside, Nebula was able to learn that it wasn't her fault because it certainly wasn't his. I'm really a sucker for a redemption story, and Nebula's has been phenomenal. She was a stone-cold badass bad girl in Guardians of the Galaxy. In Volume 2, she opened up to Gamora about how hard her life had been, and then was instrumental to the success against Thanos in Endgame. Now, she's like acting leader of the Guardians through most of the movie. Peter pulls it together, but the opening scene paints a picture of him failing his team constantly in a stupor of depression and alcohol. And not only does she stick around, even though Gamora is gone, she picks up the pieces. And even better, she grows through this story. Mantis comes down hard on her, and it got through? I think she heard what she needed to hear. We don't know much about her time with Ronan, but the vibe was aimless and cruel. Then her purpose became kill Thanos for a bit, and after that she had no choice but to start looking inward, and now she has a home and a family and aspirations, purpose. Obviously she still has work to do, but I love that she's come this far. And obviously Karen Gillan's a huge part of that. And her arc wouldn't have arced without Rocket. That much is clear. In fact, Rocket can take the credit for a lot of positive things in his friends' lives. Peter learned that he had too much to deal with and sort out in his personal life to be a competent leader. Mantis realized she still had no agency even if she was technically free. Drax got to be a dad again to kids that wouldn't even exist had Rocket not fixed the boop 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 thing. The only moderately stable person in this movie was Groot, and now look at him. Thanks, Rocket. So, Star-Lord will return, but it seems pretty concrete that it will be without James Gunn. He's got that whole heading a studio thing going for him. awesome. Who's to even say if Chris Pratt will be back? I'm sad to see this story end. Of all the MCU properties, this group of misfits really connected for me. And I'm sad, but it's ultimately a happy ending. I was snarky about Gamora being with the Ravagers, but it is good for her. My headcanon has her making her way back to Quill. But I appreciate that she isn't just left out in the cold, stewing over whatever, the life she could have had. We need family, and she's got one. I'd watch 3 more of these movies, but I'm good with where everyone lands. For now. Thanks, James Gunn and friends, you really did these characters justice. And I do have a streaming service called Nebula if you want to see some exclusive content ad-free, just saying. Nebula is the best all around. Anyway, I'm off on vacation next week, so no new everything great about, but the week after, something fun and lighthearted. Except that one scene.
I'd like to take his face off.
It's a face-off. It's a face-off.
A face-off!
His face
Face-off.
You've got like a mask on your face. What kind of thing are you?